fix this a little bit. I've decided today I'm going to talk while drawing because, as I said, I tried to record a video yesterday. It was far too long and I felt like it was talking about some sensitive stuff. Well, not sensitive per se, but like I had gotten too into like the stories, plans for the stories I was telling, as well as you could still see it. I did my makeup yesterday. I did wash my face. I did wash my face. And this is the white gel liner. I washed my face and I used a cleansing wipe. And the white liner's still there. But anyway, yeah, I made a whole video doing my makeup and talking. But like, it went on for far too long. It was fully over an hour. Fully over an hour. Um it was like an hour and a half. And I didn't feel like editing that or listening to it. So I just deleted all of it. Anyway, yeah. So I decided to draw and do it. So there's this thing that I started back when I was working as a cashier because I needed something to occupy my time. Um, and I used to print out the receipt paper and rip it and just like draw on it. And then this is where like the idea came from. Um, but it's also like based on I'm really fascinated with the seven deadly sins, not the anime. I want to stay no further. I remember I tried watching that. I did. I like watched the first 3 or 4 episodes or something. Because this was when I was in my there's anime on Netflix that I could just watch it, and I think it was like right after I finished watching Violet Evergarden too. So just like I need something to fill this hole, and then I started watching Seven Deadly Sins, and for some in the beginning I was just like for some reason I can't get into this, and then like it just kept I kept and then I like kept trying, and then I realized nah, actually I hate everybody here. I hate every single person here. um the girls are too stupid, the guys are perverts. um I hate it here and I never want to see this again, and if I see this art style again I'm going to shoot somebody. Sorry, I'm not gonna do anything to anybody, but like I and so yeah, Seven Deadly Sins just gives me the biggest amount of disgust. And no offense, but also full offense to people who like watch the show and enjoy it and watch the other things by that artist, author. Just not my taste. But anyway, that's my little rant about that. But no, I mean even before that, I used to play as a wait, actually that was in the video that I deleted. But I said that I was a visual novel girly. Um I was kind of a visual novel girly and but like again, never had money, felt bad spending money. Um so like I would play Otome games and visual novels that were like free on the App Store. They weren't all that big. Except for I never got into Mystic Messenger, which you would assume I would be one of those people. I wasn't. Um but yeah, I played Obey Me. Never finished the story. I got bored. Um But I also did play a little bit of Obey Me too. There's a second game. Didn't even finish the first. it's I don't even remember the story of the first, but I do remember. Yeah, but I don't know. I've always had like this fascination. Here's where it started. Full Metal Alchemist, which was one of the first animes that I watched ever. Um, again, my it's not my top three, but like the first three animes I watched, which kind of set me up as a human being and would explain a lot about me, were Princess Tutu, Soul Eater, and Full Metal Alchemist. Not Brotherhood. Um, but yeah, those were the first three animes that I watched. And so like since then I've kind of been like really obsessed with like the and a lot of the time they're my basis of them are on the homunculi from Fullmetal Alchemist. It's like a mixture of Fullmetal Alchemist and Obey Me, but like I have I like used to draw these people back when I was working, and it was and I was all like I didn't have the seven deadly sins themselves in mind, but like my first thing started with me drawing um in my it's more I've done it more and shown it more as, oh, this is my art style whenever I'm not actually going into sketching. But like the I don't know how to describe the square heads, rhombus heads, I don't know. But the big head people in that art style, that was actually like the first time I started drawing in that art style really. Um there are some hints of it in my high school sketchbook where I kind of started doing it, but like I wasn't committing to it kind of thing. But like it was the first time that I actually like really committed to drawing things in that art style. And like they were supposed to be the personal assistant. Like okay, so it's kind of like this the way like governing roles where the uh, if you couldn't tell, I really like structure, um, but it would be because they are like lords of hell, lords and ladies of hell. Because actually, lords is kind of gender neutral, um, but they would. It's like it's basically just a governing committee. Best way of putting it. Um, and it's less of like because this is how I see the world in general, where it's like it's not evil for the sake of being evil, which is why I'm like, are devils and demons really all that evil? Because if you think about it, it is their purpose, meaning by their moral standards, it's not evil, it is just a job. Like, yeah, so that's how I see it, where it's like it is literally just a job that they all have to do, like a quota they have to meet and stuff like that. Um, which is probably why working an office job feels so soul sucking. um, but anyway, I had the devils that embody the embodiments of the seven deadly sins are like head devils, right? And then they also each have their own personal assistant. And the first one I had, like, when I was drawing the character, they didn't really have anything. I was just like, ooh, this is okay. I was just like, I don't know. There's something about this character that's just like oozing sex appeal, which was basically what I like. I don't know how to draw a non-sexy character. No clue how to draw a non-sexy character unless you ask. I was gonna say unless you ask me to draw a guy, but then it would just be like it's not necessarily that they're not sexy. It's just I don't know how to draw guys. um, I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to draw guys younger than like 30. Because like if I could introduce a beard that hides most of the face, then it's gonna look good. But like if I can't really do facial hair, then it's just like I don't I don't know. But yeah, so I came up with like they each had a land that they were ruling over or a part that they were ruling over, and like they would have child or just the people who live within the land of each of the seven deadly sins. um each of them would like have a person from each of their lands. And the first one I literally came up with was, I don't even remember their name. I would have to like go through a sketchbook. I actually don't know whether it's in. I've been spending this entire time talking and I haven't gotten into drawing. That's because but that's basically what I was trying to say that I was drawing. But the first one that I ever drew was a child of lust who was the personal assistant of Pride. Pride. And then I drew like the second one I drew was a chubby girl, and she was like, and she was a child of gluttony and working for lust, you know. Sorry. As you know, the usual. I have my earbuds in. And I think this is Gwen Stefani. No, it's not. Sorry. A lot of artists just sound. A lot of white woman artists. I would say it straight. A lot of white woman artists sound very much the same to me. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm drawing, and I guess I could show you. This one is, and I have to write it down so I knew like who went to who, so that each of them had. This is the first one. Okay, I don't have a name. And then this one's the second one I drew. That one's Wrath. Child of Wrath. But yeah, that's what I'll be working on. Um, I feel embarrassed. But like I don't have an entire story, but like I do have like little things about it. Um and about again, I don't like. I'm not gonna depict the embodiments as like, well, entirely as like human and stuff because they're not really. Um, but I don't really have an idea for them just yet. Not really for like any of them except for Gluttony herself, which Gluttony I'm going to turn into is going to be a woman. And like the thing with Gluttony is, which I gotta say, which I don't like depictions of gluttony usually because like if anything, eating disorders are gluttony. Don't hurt me now. But let me explain. Because when you have an eating disorder, the thing you are thinking about all the time is food. You are always thinking about food. Like, and how to withhold it from yourself. It's like, because your eyes are only on that thing, really, and that is controlling your life. That is gluttonous. So, my depiction of gluttony would be like when she has two phases, which is when she's gouging, like eating a lot, she gets thinner and thinner because it's not actually feeding her. But then when she's not eating, then she gets fatter because all that's on her mind is food. That's literally how I would. So gluttony would have two forms. And then I haven't thought of any of the other ones. Just saying, I haven't thought of any of the other ones just yet. But I don't know why I felt so impassioned about that one. Um, but yeah, I just don't realize I've been spending all this time talking and not drawing, mostly because I can't do that. Once I start drawing, I'm just gonna go completely silent because that's like, yeah, I can't. Okay, so it's gonna look rushed, but right as of right now, I really did because I had to. I have to draw seven human-looking characters, and I have to draw 14 characters. So all of them are gonna look rushed, but like, literally had to take some time. I literally went silent. Um, but I just finished. This is Sloth, and he's the one who works for uh is the personal assistant for Gluttony because the best way to the, the best way to manage her health is by being reluctant to give anything to her. So just take it slow. um, but yeah. Uh, okay, who's next on the list? So who I have left to do, if you aren't following along, is Gluttony, Envy, Greed, and Pride. I already have Gluttony's look in mind, but the rest of them I don't know just yet. Okay. But yeah, the reason why I adopted this art style, except for you could see I'm taking out the pointy cheek. Um, I mean it could go either way. Pointy cheek is probably like the most cartoon way, but then the shaved down cheek is probably like, oh, this is more how they actually look. So it's literally not that different. um, but I guess like shaved shaved off cheek would be like more human proportions, while pointy cheek is exaggerated cartoony proportions. But anyway, yeah. So because I don't really like talk out my process, first of all, I'm getting incredibly like distracted in general because I'm thinking about it. Um, Everything happens within the head. I start imagining it, and then I commit. Is kind of that's just my process. Um, which is probably why I go completely silent damn when I'm trying to like draw. Actually, it has to be under. But yeah, I focus in really heavy whenever I draw, which is probably what happens to most artists. I know that it's a common thing that it's really hard for artists to like talk and draw or explain what they're drawing because like how could you explain the fact that you're just seeing stuff in your head and putting it on paper, you know? But yeah, I, I I thought that this was gonna be a sit chat. It kind of is. It kind of is. Um, I really do like the slow reverbed version of this kill shot. Like it's okay fast, but I really do like it slower. But yeah, because I'm in an arty mood. I don't know. Maybe the next one after OSS, obviously, would be like me painting because that one is just head empty for the most part. Even whenever I like do a sketch beforehand, it is mostly head empty. I still have one more canvas, and I've been trying to think of like what I wanted to do on it, and I thought, why don't I just use acrylic paint like how it's actually supposed to be used, which is paint to section, wait for it to dry, paint on top. Um, and as I said, I think after painting the first time, is that I'm like a wet artist. Except for I don't really like watercolors. Um, but yeah, I'm more of a wet artist. Don't like watercolors. um, Maybe oil painting is the medium I should get into, but I'd rather try gouache first and then get into oil painting if that is what. Yeah, because like I don't know, I don't know. I just want to get because I still feel like I'm a complete amateur when it comes to painting in general, and I feel like oil painting is for people who at least are more advanced, which is probably a dumb way of thinking, but like, it's still something that it feels like I feel like that is the grand step. Like I always work in steps where when I started doing digital art, I first started by doing basically like, you know, drawing, lining, and then coloring in. That's how. Actually, no, not even. I used to do just drawing and then coloring in. I still kind of do that, but like slowly I started like using blending brushes and doing an underlaying sketch and then like drawing on top of that sketch and then coloring it in. Um, there are still times where it's still in the sketch phase and I just erase or color on top of. Um, but I have reached a point in my digital art where it feels like I've learned. I'm not going to say I've mastered it because I'm not a master at anything, but I have learned. I have learned what I like about the programs and like taking what I've learned to get ideas across that I want. And I've always used literally the same um, program for years. I've been using Ibis Paint X, um, and for a period of time I used the premium version, and I've been using Ibis Paint X for like since I started my digital art journey. But like I only switched to digital art because I felt like I was stagnant in my physical art and I felt like the next step was to learn to paint. So instead of learning to paint, I was just like, okay, let me teach myself what I want paint to look like. And that's where I went to digital art. And that's when I started like making digital paintings, right? And then I'm like, okay, so I know the skills here. Now let me learn like the actual medium. And of course, I have used paint before in like art classes and stuff, but I still never like understood what I wanted to come out of the paint. Um, and I honestly didn't discover Bob Ross. I didn't find out about Bob Ross until like high school. So I didn't I didn't know you could really like watch and follow along to paintings. And we did like a it wasn't a paint and sip, but that's the first thing that came to mind. It was just like a little after school event thing. Um and we like drew we painted along. Of course it was with acrylic paint because oil paint is expensive, but like we followed along to a Bob Ross tutorial, and that was like one of the first times that I actually felt like I did really well in painting. And then I tried it digitally to do a landscape digitally with paint and using some of those techniques, and some of them did transfer over. Um, but yeah, I've been trying to learn acrylic paint because one, it's the cheapest thing and the easiest thing for me to get my hands on. Um, so I could learn how to paint. So I could learn how to paint in general, like using a brush and like what I want the canvas to look like, how, the feel of a canvas. And which is why I took an intro to painting class in freshman year, and I didn't like it. Didn't like it. Um, Oh yeah, basically what I was trying to say is just like I I feel like I need to learn how to paint before I paint, you know? And like my way of doing that, I have to learn how to acrylic paint because that's like in my head it's like a difficulty hurdle. This is something that dries fast, you know. And if you want to use it the way that you are using it, you're gonna have to do it. It teaches me patience. There we go. Because it because it dries fast, it teaches me patience. Crazy. But I mean, like, because I like make it so wet, I have to do like multiple layers of the one thing, and when doing multiple layers, I also like blend and to get like the desired color, but with acrylic, in order to get like the color payoff, you kind of have to like wait for it to dry, you know, and go back on top. And yeah, basically, it teaches me patience. But yeah, that's yeah. But yeah, that's well, that's all. I don't remember what I was talking about that because I took such a long break in between the previous video and this one. And also, Get Your Freak On by Missy Elliott is playing. Okay. But yeah, basically, I'm just trying to, the journey of an artist, you're always trying to get better, improve upon who you last were. And next time I'll talk to you guys, I'll be painting. Um, and actually, I'm just gonna end this video here. Finish the one I'm drawing right now, which is Gluttony. So thank you all for watching. If you watched the end, I love you. If you did it, then you wouldn't be hearing this, so I don't need to say anything. Um, but anyway, that's the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a good day for the rest of the day. Do something artsy today. If you wanna leave feeling in a better mood, do something artsy today. And don't you dare ever say, "Oh, I can't draw. Oh, I'm not an artist." You don't have to be an artist to do something creative. Um, and the only reason why you feel that way is because you are prematurely judging yourself and comparing yourself against others, which you should never do in art because art is an individual experience. It is communication, yes, but it's also communication of an individual. No one's art is going to look exactly the same to another person's, unless even when they trace, because like that's not their hands, you know. Anyway, um, and with the rise of technology, we need more people willing to do art anyway. So I'll leave you all with that. Thank you for watching, and I love you all.